What if I told you that no matter what happens in the world, you could remain calm, unshaken, and completely in control of your mind? Right now, there's noise everywhere. Notifications ping. Headlines scream. The world seems like it's moving faster than we can keep up. Every day, we're bombarded with opinions, crises, and expectations that demand our attention. And yet, how often do we stop and ask ourselves, who controls my mind? Who decides my peace? Most of us think peace comes from changing the outside world. We scroll endlessly, hoping someone, somewhere will fix the chaos for us. But the truth is far more radical. True peace doesn't come from outside, it comes from inside. And that's where the Stoics come in. The Stoics, ancient philosophers who lived thousands of years ago, discovered a remarkable truth. The world will always be chaotic, but your mind doesn't have to be. They practiced a kind of silent rebellion, not against governments, not against society, but against the chaos itself, against the constant pull of external events that threaten to steal their calm. Imagine a life where the storms around you no longer dictate how you feel, where criticism, failure, or uncertainty no longer send you spiraling. This is not fantasy. This is a practice, a deliberate, quiet resistance, a rebellion that begins with one simple choice: to master your own mind. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore this ancient, powerful path. You'll learn how to reclaim your inner peace, how to respond to the world without being consumed by it, and how to live freely, no matter the noise outside. A quick shout out to our amazing global audience. Huge thanks to all new viewers from Dubai, Rwanda, Pretoria in South Africa, Bamenda and Buea in Cameroon, Ghana, and Nigeria. I cannot forget our top viewers in the United States of America, Canada, Australia, India, and the United Kingdom. If I missed your country, drop it in the comments below. I'll be happy to mention it next time. Thanks for everything. Let's get started. The modern struggle. In today's world, chaos is no longer occasional. It's constant. From the moment we wake up to the moment our heads hit the pillow, we are surrounded by noise, pressure, and distraction. Every alert, every headline, every message is designed to pull our attention in 100 directions at once. And yet, the more we try to keep up, the more we feel out of control. Think about it. How often have you felt overwhelmed by information? How often have a single negative comment, a disappointing email, or a sudden change in plans thrown your entire day off balance? We live in a world that encourages us to react emotionally, to feel urgency, to chase after what is fleeting. And in this environment, peace feels almost impossible. It's no wonder we feel like we're living on autopilot. Most of us have been trained to believe that our happiness depends on external circumstances, the job we have, the people around us, the approval of others. When these things go wrong, so do we. Stress builds up, anxiety spikes, and anger or sadness takes hold. And yet, here's the startling truth the Stoics discovered over 2,000 years ago. None of this has to control you. The world will always present challenges, unexpected events, and pressures beyond your control. But your inner response, your mind, your perception, your choices, remains yours. That is where freedom begins. Modern life feels different from the Stoic world, but the challenge is the same. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, faced invasions, betrayals, illness, and political chaos every day. Epictetus, born a slave, endured oppression and hardship beyond what most of us can imagine. And yet, both taught that the key to a fulfilling life isn't in controlling the uncontrollable, but in mastering one's mind. Imagine this in your daily life. You're stuck in traffic. Your phone buzzes with bad news. A coworker criticizes you unfairly. Most people will react instantly: frustration, anger, panic. The external chaos takes over. The day, the mood, even the week feels ruined. But what if you could step back, even for a moment, and simply say, "This is beyond my control. My reaction is mine to choose." This is the silent rebellion of the Stoics. Not loud, not confrontational, but radical in its impact. While the world demands that we get swept along by its currents, Stoicism teaches that the truest power lies in the calm refusal to be carried away. Inner peace isn't about avoiding life's difficulties. It's about standing firm in the eye of the storm. And here's the most important part. It's achievable for anyone. No matter how chaotic your world seems, you can practice seeing events clearly, responding intentionally, and protecting your mind from unnecessary suffering. It begins with awareness, recognizing when chaos is trying to pull you in, and with small, deliberate choices that build resilience. So, while the world rages on outside, there is a path to inner stillness. It doesn't require escaping your life. It doesn't require withdrawing from responsibilities or challenges. It simply requires learning the art of silent rebellion, resisting the urge to be controlled by external chaos, and instead claiming mastery over your mind, moment by moment, choice by choice. Introducing the Stoic Silent Rebellion. If the modern world feels overwhelming, the Stoic approach offers a radical but subtle solution. It's what I call the Stoics' silent rebellion. But what does that mean? It's not a rebellion against people, governments, or society. It's a rebellion against the very thing most of us unknowingly surrender to every day: the chaos of external events. The Stoics, from Epictetus to Marcus Aurelius, understood a simple truth. The world will always be unpredictable, uncontrollable, and often unjust. If we allow ourselves to be ruled by this unpredictability, by other people's words, by sudden misfortune, by constant social pressures, we lose the most important thing we can ever possess: control over our own minds. This is where the idea of the silent rebellion comes in. It is quiet, intentional, and entirely internal. It's about refusing to surrender your peace to the whims of the outside world. While others react impulsively, get swept up in outrage, or chase approval, the Stoic quietly observes, assesses, and chooses their response. This is not passivity. On the contrary, it requires immense strength, vigilance, and discipline. Imagine the world as a stormy sea. Everyone else is struggling to stay afloat, tossed by waves of anxiety, anger, and fear. The Stoics' silent rebellion is building a small, unshakable lighthouse inside yourself, a mind anchored in reason, clarity, and calm. Even when the waves crash around you, you remain steady. So, how does one practice this silent rebellion? It starts with awareness. You must recognize when your mind is being hijacked by circumstances beyond your control. That angry comment on social media, that missed deadline, that unexpected confrontation. These events are neutral in themselves. It is your judgment, the story you tell yourself, that turns them into chaos. Next comes the choice. The Stoic asks, what is within my control here? And almost always, the answer is clear. Your own thoughts, actions, and attitudes. You cannot change the storm, but you can choose not to be swept away. You can breathe. You can respond calmly. You can let go of what doesn't serve your inner peace. Finally, the silent rebellion is strengthened through daily practice. Reflection, journaling, and mindfulness are tools the Stoics used to reinforce this inner strength. Each day offers opportunities to exercise control over your mind, noticing a rising irritation, reframing a setback, or simply pausing before reacting. Over time, these small silent acts accumulate, forming an unshakable fortress of calm. This rebellion is silent because it does not seek recognition. It is not a performance, nor a display of virtue to others. Its power is in its invisibility. Others may continue to act chaotically, complain, or panic, but you remain untouched. Your inner life becomes your own, independent of circumstance. The Stoics' silent rebellion is not just a technique, it is a philosophy of freedom. Freedom from emotional slavery to the outside world. Freedom to respond deliberately, rather than react instinctively. Freedom to live with clarity, courage, and serenity, even when the world feels like it's falling apart. And this freedom, once cultivated, becomes the foundation for a life of unshakable inner peace. A peace no storm can touch, no criticism can erode, and no external circumstance can dictate. Key Principle 1. Control what you can. The first principle of the Stoic silent rebellion is deceptively simple. Control what you can, and let go of what you cannot. It sounds almost too easy, but in practice, it is profoundly transformative. In life, so much of our stress comes from trying to control what is, by its nature, uncontrollable. We worry about the opinions of others, about events that haven't happened yet, about outcomes that depend on countless variables. And in doing so, we hand over our peace to forces beyond our influence. The Stoics called this a fundamental error, a surrender of our most precious resource, our own mind. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, faced situations far more challenging than most of us ever will. Wars, betrayals, illness, and political chaos surrounded him constantly. Yet he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the essence of controlling what you can, recognizing the boundary between what is within your influence and what is not. The process starts with awareness. When you encounter a problem, pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, your choices, your effort, your response, then act. If it isn't, other people's opinions, random events, past mistakes, then release it. Let it go. Fighting what you cannot change is like trying to hold back the tide with your bare hands. You will only exhaust yourself and lose your calm. Consider a modern example. You receive criticism online. Your first instinct might be anger, frustration, or the need to respond. But pause. You cannot control how others think or what they write. What you can control is your reaction. Whether you let it upset you, whether you internalize it, or whether you respond with composure, or not at all. That small shift, choosing your response rather than reacting impulsively, is an act of silent rebellion. Control what you can also applies to daily actions and decisions. You may not be able to prevent a traffic jam, a coworker's negativity, or a delayed flight, but you can control how you spend that time. Can you use it to reflect, breathe, plan, or simply accept the situation? Each conscious choice builds resilience, teaching your mind that peace is not tied to circumstances. Ultimately, this principle is about reclaiming power over your life. When you focus only on what is within your control, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. The Stoic silent rebellion begins here, with the simple, radical act of deciding that your mind and your peace are yours and yours alone, immune to the chaos that surrounds you. Key Principle 2. Observe without attachment. The second principle of the Stoic silent rebellion is observe without attachment. At first, it may sound abstract. How can you witness life without feeling it? But this principle is one of the most powerful tools for maintaining inner peace. Most of us live attached to outcomes, emotions, and events. When something happens, we immediately assign it, meaning, this is good, this is bad, this is unfair. Our minds react, often uncontrollably, and we allow external circumstances to dictate our emotional state. A critical comment, a delayed project, a personal conflict, they all become triggers that hijack our mind. Stoicism teaches us a different approach. The world is neutral. It is our judgments that color it. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was born a slave, wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By observing events without attaching to them emotionally, you create space, a pause between stimulus and reaction. This space is where your power lies. Start with awareness. When something triggers an emotional reaction, don't suppress it. Notice it. Label it. This is anger. This is frustration. Observe it as if you were watching a passing cloud. By recognizing your feelings without immediately acting on them, you prevent them from controlling you. Observe without attachment also means letting go of outcomes. The world will not always conform to your expectations. A project may fail, plans may change, people may disappoint you. When we are attached to a specific result, disappointment is inevitable. But if we observe outcomes as events rather than judgments of our worth or happiness, we maintain our equilibrium. Consider this. You're driving, and another driver cuts you off. Most people immediately feel anger or fear. But if you observe the event without attachment, you notice it, acknowledge your rising frustration, and choose not to escalate, you retain control. You do not allow a momentary external occurrence to dictate your inner state. This is the Stoic way, experiencing life fully, yet without being enslaved by it. Practicing this principle requires repetition. Start with small triggers in your daily life. Traffic jams, interruptions, minor conflicts. Notice them, label your emotions, and let them pass without clinging. Over time, this habit extends to larger events, criticism, setbacks, or losses. The mind trained in observation without attachment becomes resilient, unshakable, and profoundly free. Observation without attachment is not detachment from life. It is engagement without enslavement. You experience, you feel, you act, but your inner peace is no longer hostage to the world. In the Stoic silent rebellion, this principle is the shield that protects your mind, allowing you to stand firm in the eye of life's storms. Key Principle 3. Practice daily reflection. The third principle of the Stoic silent rebellion is practice daily reflection. This is the habit that transforms awareness into wisdom, and wisdom into inner peace. Stoicism is not only about theory, it is a practice, and reflection is one of its most powerful tools. Daily reflection is about reviewing your day with honesty and intention. It is a quiet, deliberate process of examining your thoughts, actions, and reactions. What moments challenged you? When did your mind wander or become unsettled? What choices brought clarity and calm? By asking these questions regularly, you gain insight into your patterns, habits, and blind spots. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote extensively about this practice. Every evening, he reflected on the day's events, analyzing his own reactions, noting where he succeeded in virtue and where he fell short. This simple act allowed him to cultivate self-mastery, to learn from each experience, and to strengthen his mind against future challenges. Reflection is the exercise that turns the Stoic principles from abstract ideas into lived reality. Start small. Set aside just 5 or 10 minutes each evening. Find a quiet space, take a deep breath, and consider the events of your day. What emotions arose? Were they justified, or were they the result of attachments or expectations? Did you focus on what was within your control, or were you swept along by circumstances? Reflection is not about self-criticism or regret. It is about clarity. It is about noticing where your peace was disturbed and considering how to respond differently in the future. For example, if someone irritated you today, ask, "Why did I react this way? Could I have chosen calm instead?" If you faced an unexpected obstacle, ask, "What was in my control here? What wasn't? How can I approach this differently next time?" The more consistently you practice daily reflection, the more automatic it becomes. Your mind starts to notice triggers in real time. You pause before reacting. You catch yourself before anger, frustration, or fear takes hold. Reflection strengthens your mental resilience, like training a muscle. Over time, you are not just reacting to life. You are engaging with it thoughtfully, deliberately, and with a sense of calm authority. This habit is the anchor of the Stoic silent rebellion. In a world full of noise and distraction, reflection allows you to step back, assess, and course correct. It teaches you to live intentionally, rather than being tossed about by every external event. The peace you cultivate through reflection is not temporary or conditional. It is durable, grounded in self-awareness, self-mastery, and choice. In essence, daily reflection is the practice that completes the Stoics' silent rebellion. It transforms philosophy into lived experience, turning ordinary moments into opportunities for growth and lasting serenity. The mind trained in reflection becomes a fortress, steady, resilient, and unshakable, no matter what life throws its way. As we come to the end of this journey, remember this: inner peace is not a gift from the world. It is a quiet, deliberate rebellion, a choice to master your mind rather than surrender it to external chaos. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control events, opinions, or unexpected hardships, we can control our thoughts, our judgments, and our reactions. Each moment becomes an opportunity to practice calm, clarity, and resilience. Each choice you make to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively is an act of silent rebellion. Start small. Tonight, reflect on your day. Notice one moment where your peace was disturbed. Ask yourself, could I have chosen differently? Could I have maintained calm instead of reacting? Tomorrow, carry that awareness into your interactions. Focus on what is within your control. Observe events without attachment. Let go of what you cannot change. Over time, these small, intentional acts accumulate. Your mind becomes your own, steady, resilient, and unshakable. The chaos of the world may rage on, but you will stand firm, anchored in reason and calm. So take this moment as your invitation. Begin your silent rebellion today. Reclaim your peace, master your mind, and in a world that never stops shouting, let your calm be your most powerful statement.